Yo, what's up guys? Felix from Giant Lifestyle. In this video, I'm going to be doing a Q&A about the pallet business. These are some of the most common questions I've seen on my videos about the pallet business. Back in August, I flew down to Alabama to meet up with John Wilker, the creator of The Simplest Biz, also known as the Pallet Guy. I rode around with him for a day to see exactly how he does this business, and for somebody who's been doing it for the past 22 years, he really shed light on what is possible with this business. Since then, I've invested into the Simplest Biz training and have started my own pallet business and have started to see some success. In this video, I'm going to show you guys some backdrop of some different pallet clips, also answering the most common questions I've seen. If you guys are interested in building a pallet business for yourself, I highly recommend taking the training and cutting the learning curve. I have a discounted link down below in the description so you can get the training with a huge discount. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. If you guys like this video, be sure to put a like on the video and subscribe. And if you have more questions, drop them in the comments below and maybe I'll do a part 2. Let's get into the video. All right, let's jump right into the questions. The first question we have is, what is the average profit margin per pallet? Now, the profit margins range around $3 to $5 per pallet. This is a volume game, so the more pallets you move, the more you make. Sometimes we even get paid to take them away, so do the math. How do you actually find the pallets? So we use a method from home using the computer to locate the pallets. And once we locate the pallets using the computer, then we go out there and make the connections. This eliminates you having to run all over your city like a chicken with your head cut off. You can leverage the internet and then go out into the field and make the connections. The next question is what is the average price per pallet? So 95% of the pallets we get are free. The most John shows us to pay is about $1.35 per pallet, and we end up flipping them for around $5, $6, or $7. Will this business still work during the winter? So yes, this business works during the winter, all climates, all over the country, in fact, all over the world. Anywhere where there's commerce, there are pallets. So for example, say New York City, where a bunch of pallets might be stored inside at the cold of the winter time. Those actually might be an advantage because the company that has them, they might be motivated to get rid of them because they could be taking up space. So they might either pay you to take them away or they'll be motivated to sell them. The next question is it's only pallets that we're flipping? So no, pallets is just the beginning. We have crates, dunnage, industrial bags, corrugated boxes, Gaylord boxes, wired spools. There's so much opportunity in this field that if you're just limiting yourself to pallets, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. The next question is, can this business be done with a cargo van? So yes, you can do it with a cargo van. Obviously, a flatbed is better because you have no ceiling. The only difference with a cargo van is you just won't be able to move as many pallets as you want, but it's better than nothing. How do you get paid? Is it once a month or is it once a week? So typically you invoice your buyers and they'll pay you within 7 to 10 days. If not, right on the spot. When I was down in Alabama for seeing this business the first time in person with John, the creator of the Simplest Biz training, one buyer he actually invoiced and the other buyer paid him right on the spot to get him out the way. So you don't really want to be a scavenger. If they want to pay you right on the spot to get you out the way, that's cool. But once you actually make the delivery, you don't want to be begging them for the money because it just looks very unprofessional. The next question is is there a lot of competition? So I always see this, and with any given business, I say, if you're thinking about competition, you already lost. When I seen John do this business firsthand down in Alabama, he was literally doing it for the past 22 years in a very small sector of a little bit outside of where he lived. I mean, I'm talking about a mile square radius of businesses. So you don't need to be in a huge city. You don't need 1,000 businesses to make this business work because there's just so much out there for everybody. So if you're thinking about, other people doing it, then you're focusing on them and you're not focusing on yourself. There's so much out there. I wouldn't even be worried about competition. Think about how many businesses are actually out there. So competition, shouldn't even be on your mind. I live in a small town. I wonder if this would work for me. So yeah, unless you live in a city where there's like 50 or 100 people as far as the population, then you shouldn't really have an issue. If there's literally no businesses, then what you could do is you could look for the next city over. Even if it's, 20, 30 miles down the road, what you could do is use the internet strategy that we use to scout for product. And then once you have, sort of found the product, you can go out there, make the connections. And even if you have to head 30, 40 miles down the road to go to the next city over that is a little bit more populated and has more businesses and pallets available, if you go there a week, a day or two out the week and make 500 to 1,000 each day, it would be worth it. What type of truck do you need? So the best type of truck for this is obviously a flatbed, but if you don't have that, you can work with what you got. So me personally, I went on govdeals.com because I already have a trucking business. So for the meantime, I'm going to be using my box truck. But once I start to even have more success and get more accounts and do more deals, I will end up buying a flatbed. But you can rent one. You can also look for one on Facebook Marketplace or Let Go or OfferUp. There's a lot of different places, or auctions. Like I said, I got mine from GovDeals. There's a lot of different places that you can go to actually look for a truck. The next question we have is, I'm 70 years old. Is it too late for me to get into this? So not at all. All ages, all demographics, men, women, from any location. As long as you got the hustle, you should be fine. And the next question was, do you have women who do this? So John told me about a bunch of female entrepreneurs who do this pallet business. Like I said, young, old, any demographics, any parts of the country, any parts of the world. As long as you got the hustle, you shouldn't have a problem. What if we don't have a truck? So if you don't have a truck, like I said, you can go on Craigslist or go on these buy and sell apps or Facebook Marketplace and look for a cheap truck. You don't need anything fancy. You can even rent one. And if you can't do that, the best part is you can broker deals, which basically means you can kind of line deals up and middleman them. So having a truck is not a requirement. You can actually middleman deals by brokering them. Somebody wanted to know how the pandemic, or COVID, has impacted the buying and reselling of pallets. Well, COVID has actually forced more people to order online, which has increased shipping, which has increased the use of pallets. Do you have any experience with this in Latin American countries? So yeah, John actually told me that he has students outside of the USA in countries, for example, say Finland, Canada, the United Kingdom, Germany, and India, and a bunch of other places. So there's no limit as to where you can do this. How much do pallet yards charge per pallet? So we don't deal with pallet yards because that's where the scavengers go to sell their pallets, and they pay maybe $1 or $2. But what we do is we want an actual customer who's going to pay top dollar for the pallets. Why do scavengers only go after standard pallets? They're going after standard pallets because they only sell to pallet yards. Those are the only people they could sell their pallets for, and they're only going to get around $1 per pallet. Plus, they really never get exclusivity because the only thing they know how to move is 48 by 40. So when they're doing that, they're leaving not only a lot of money on the table, but they're not actually serving the supplier right because they're scavenging through the pallets, they're knocking other pallets over, and they're leaving a lot of money on the table because they can't take everything. We know how to take all size of pallets, everything, because we're actually selling them to a real buyer and not a pallet yard. Can this be done on a weekend while I transition to make it a full-time thing? Yes, you can. You could take a day or two out the week and build this up on the side while you transition either from a job or whatever else you're doing. The next question we have is, do you have to pay taxes and get an LLC for this type of business? So I usually say, even though I'm not an accountant or a CPA or a tax professional, is whenever you start something, I would say at least make a few $1,000s with it to, one, see if it works for you, to see if you like it, and to see how everything is. You don't have to run out there and immediately create an LLC and do all that. Once you start to make some money, Uncle Sam will want a cut of it, but in the beginning, you don't have to do that. Plus, we're not collecting sales tax because these are used items. Is this business cash-based? Yes, this business is cash-based, but there is also an invoicing process. Do you need a CDL license? No, you do not need a CDL license. How do you take a vacation or time off? So what you can actually do is you can actually overstock them, meaning you can fill them up with enough pallets so that they don't run out for, say, 2 to 3 weeks. Now, anything longer than that, what you're probably going to want to do is have somebody come in there and fill in for you and actually do the work for you, because you just can't stock them up that much. But if it's just like a week or 2 weeks off, you can basically just overstock them. What model flatbed does John own? John owns a F354, 12 feet long by 8 feet wide. How many pallets can it hold? It can hold between 120 and 200 depending on the size. Why wouldn't these businesses that have hundreds of pallets just sell them themselves? You have to think about it like this. They're in the business of ABC, whatever their business is. They're not in the business of X, Y, and Z of buying and reselling pallets. That's where we come in and offer that service.
That's why you see certain businesses outsourcing different parts of their business to other businesses. That's why B2B exists. B2B is business to business because they're in the business of doing ABC. We're in the business of doing X, Y, and Z. So we take it off their plate. They're not into the business of flipping pallets. They're into the business of doing whatever they're doing. And that's why that all exists. They're not in the business of selling pallets. They're in the business of doing that. And we're in the business of selling pallets. So that's where we come into place. What do you do with all the broken pallets? So the broken pallets is just an additional revenue stream. What type of buyers do you sell them to? We actually use the same sort of buyer research that we use for the pallet research as far as where to locate them. And the last question we have is there ever a time when your dedicated customer doesn't want to buy or supply with you? Typically around big holidays, but in the end, I'm going to want time off as well. So besides that, not really. They have to keep business moving. Besides around maybe Christmas or any other big holiday, they might want some time off. But besides that, they're going to keep needing to, move their pallets and buy more pallets. So there you guys have it. That is the first pallet Q&A. Maybe I'll do another one as I start to make more and more money doing this business. As I said, this is just an additional revenue stream for me as I like multiple streams of income. If you guys are interested in learning how to do this business yourself, it's a very lucrative business model and it's very easy to learn if you're able to take the training and learn from somebody who's been doing this business for the past 22 years, like John himself have been doing it. That's why I decided to invest into the training and learn exactly step by step on what to do. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and also subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Peace.